So good morning everybody, myself Acharya Vishvendra, and today I shall be speaking on neural pathway and its relevance as per the exams are concerned, as per students are concerned. So as you can see over here, suppose this is the brain and there is a certain highlighted portion which responds to which we call as the neural pathway. Actually these highlighting things is specifying the neural coordination of different parts of the brain which are used to carry out a certain operation to get a certain output. Let's talk with a real life example. Suppose there are two students. One is a student A and another is a student B. Let's compare and analyze the neural pathways of both the students. Suppose A is the topper from the top and B is an average performer in the exam. So if we analyze the results of the students, then one thing is clear that input is same for both the students. In this example, we assume that there is no external different input being fed to the students. Both of them had access to the same input, we assume this, which is equally true generally. But output is different. So if we compare human mind-brain algorithms, then there are three concerns in that. The first is input, second is the output, and in between is the processing. So input is same for both the students, but output is different. That means it has to do something with the processing of information by the students. So that processing has a link to the neural pathways. The thing is that a good student, let's say this is a good student and this is a poor student. A good student has complex and strong neural pathways, whereas a poor student has simple and weak neural pathways, because of which he is unable to process the multitasking operations as required for cracking a competitive exam. So I choose this concern as I just want to develop a structured mechanism for ensuring optimal learning. Because you see, learning should be customized and it should be taught to everybody. Because as I have realized, life is itself a learning process. From womb to the tomb, we always learn at every moment. There is a certain information processing going on inside us, inside the mind-brain system, which try to make us better. We may not realize it at all. We may be distracted by the emotional conflicts, by the impact of negative emotions, by griefs and pains. But one thing is certain, that we want it or we don't want it, we are being improved by a certain mystical figure, by a certain mysterious mechanism, by a certain metaphysical thing, or maybe not a thing. I don't know how to correctly name it, because it is beyond every physical thing, beyond any physical dimension. Everything is in motion, you see. In the entire cosmos, everything is in moving. It seems like everything is searching for something, and that something, when encountered by real life experience is the seeking pleasure, seeking a certain state in which there are no pains and griefs. But truth of life is that it is always full of pains and griefs. It seems like we are trying to run away from pains and griefs. And as Lord Buddha said, life is just pains and griefs. And uh, the quest to enjoy pleasure is just a technique, a melodramacy to escape from bearing the brunt of pains and griefs. In reality, you can't escape the pains and griefs. If you try to suppress pains and grief and tries to act, then life will explore situations in which you will feel pain and griefs until you realize that you have to face pains and griefs. That is the only solution. So in the very same way, that something which happens within you, which happens within the mind-brain system of somebody, is a development of the neural pathway at the physiological level. Suppose you rise at a certain morning. So you are continuously receiving information from your five senses. It's a pentadiodal information access normally. And using that information, it's reaching to your brain, and brain is ultimately transferring to the mind, and there is a continuous exchange of information between mind and the brain in a to and fro way. That is what makes up learning. That is how we learn things. So one thing is clear, that if observed beyond emotions, life is just an information access mechanism and development of new neural pathways. Everybody is heading for that. Everybody is actually undergoing the development of the neural pathways, and that is the only truth of life when observed physiologically. Even your emotions, your feelings, your energies are just the impact of neural pathway. They are trying to develop certain neural pathways in you. So it feels like something is trying to convey us something, that life is just about to develop the neural pathways and to get access, or it seems like it's a password to the hyper dimensions, to the beyond the fifth sense things. In my earlier childhood, I had an imaginary vision in which sometimes I felt that I'm able to observe the entire cosmos from outside it. That was a very amazing experience. It happened in a moment of seconds, and I had a very weird feeling that somehow I'm able to escape the matrix of the mind-brain system, of the analytical brain, and is able to think beyond space and time. I felt like, where is the end of universe? And I found that there is no end to it. It seems like there is a certain, certain level of infinite letters like this. And we cannot know the reality using the five-sensed mind-brain system. We have to increase the frequencies of our brain waves to access sixth sense and beyond. And mind is itself the sixth sense. So everything is just about the neural pathways. In the next video, I shall be explaining the process of developing them correctly. Thank you and have a nice day.